is impossible.
Parallel universe open up. 100 sea floating city filmed in skies above China. Chinese TV news reports have told how thousands of residents in two areas reported separately seeing a huge city form in the skies. Onlookers, some who are said to have videoed the bizarre event, were said to be mesmerized as a towering city of skyscrapers appeared from the clouds. First, thousands reportedly saw a ghostly alien city floating over Foshan in the Guangdong province of China. A few days later, people in the province of Jiangxi, China, also reported seeing a similar cloud city. Weather experts have explained the phenomena as natural mirage, an optical illusion called Fata Morgana. Fata Morgana can be seen on land or sea and involves the optical distortion and inversion of distant objects such as boats, which can appear as skyscrapers because the images become stacked when rays of light bend as they pass through air of different temperatures, such as in a heat haze. But the mystery has sent conspiracy theorists into overdrive. There were previous reports of a similar sighting in China in 2011. YouTube channel Paranormal Crucible said in a video report, the footage captured by a local resident appears to show a huge city floating in the clouds. The apparition, which was witnessed by hundreds of shocked residents, only lasted a few minutes before completely disappearing. The channel speculated it could be the result of a Project Bluebeam test. Project Bluebeam is a prolific conspiracy theory which believes NASA will one day simulate an alien invasion of Earth or second coming of Christ through holograms.
Professor Hawking told an audience at Harvard University on Monday that black holes aren't the eternal prisons they were once thought. He added, "Things can get out of a black hole, both from the outside and possibly through another universe." Giving fresh hope to those who dread falling into oblivion, he added, "If you feel you're in a black hole, don't give up. There's a way out." The 74-year-old went on to describe black holes as the most efficient hard drives in the universe. He said, "Exactly how they are able to store so much information is one of the greatest mysteries that we're working hard to unravel." He added, "Black holes are stranger than anything dreamed up by science fiction writers, but they are firmly matters of science fact." Hawking no longer believes black holes swallow up the matter that gets sucked into them. Speaking in front of more than 1,000 students, he said, "It's like burning an encyclopedia. The information is not lost if you keep all the ashes. But it's difficult to read." Last year, Dujan Stojovic, an associate professor of physics at the University of Buffalo, put forward a similar argument. Professor Stojovic said, "According to our work, information isn't lost once it enters a black hole. It doesn't just disappear." Speaking in April, he said the research marked a significant step toward solving the information loss paradox. One theory is that inside every black hole is another universe, and that if you could pass through the event horizon of the black hole, you'd be emitted by an object called a white hole on the other side. A white hole is a theoretical structure, none are known to exist, though they don't violate any of the known laws of physics, that emit matter and energy, but cannot ever be reached from the outside. I'm not going to pretend to understand the physics much past that, except to note that there's no known way for a white hole to form. No white holes have ever been observed to exist, and white holes don't form when stars collapse. According to some theories, a white hole, rather than the Big Bang, might have been responsible for the birth of our own universe. This is, as you might expect, rather difficult to test directly. The chance that we'll ever answer the question pro or con is quite low. Not only are we fresh out of black holes in this neck of the woods, the gravitational field surrounding them would destroy any scientific instrument package we could build. Even if the alternate universe theory is true, what a white hole emits is a blast of energy, not a probe, and certainly not a human being. Interstellar notwithstanding, direct exploration will have to wait.
Might not know about Satan. Number one, Satan, or at least the modern interpretation of Satan, is kind of a New Testament thing. Right, I know. You might be saying, Matt, Ben, Scully, wait, what about the book of Job? That's Old Testament. Satan's in there. But therein lies a little bit of shenanigans translation-wise, because, as it turns out, that Satan is referred to as something called Ha-Satan. And Ha-Satan, H-A-Satan, is a word that means something like the challenger. And in this sense, Satan, or Ha-Satan, whomever that might have been, is sent by God as an angel who gives people challenges and obstacles to make it even more important when they choose the good side or the correct action. In this case, in this sense, then what we later call Satan becomes sort of a special agent of God, who's sent there under God's command rather than in conflict with a great creator. And number two, all right, the devil has a lot of names, and that's kind of weird. It's due to religious syncretism in part. And religious syncretism is something that we've talked about before in our videos and a little bit on our audio show. That's when two different religions combine and meld to form another belief system. You can find traces of this in some voodoo practices, in some Caribbean practices, or when I used to live in Guatemala, some of the folk saints that were actually older pre-Christian deities. So this comes out in the various names for Satan or the devil. One great example would be Baal or Beelzebub, which you would recognize as Beelzebub or Lord of the Flies. That comes from an older religion. And some scholars trace this phenomenon all the way back to ancient Babylon, to Zoroastrianism. And in Zoroastrianism, so the theory goes, Second Temple era Judaism ran into an evil deity that is acknowledged in the religion of Zoroastrianism. The name of this deity, or this evil spirit, is Angra Mainya. And the interpretations of this have also changed throughout the years, but the theory is that this encounter, this cultural encounter, is what changed the interpretation of an angel sent by God to challenge people into something much more adversarial. 3. What does the devil look like? Now this might surprise some people, right? Because we have a fairly solid, consistent image of Satan in Christianity and in some degrees in Islam, at least fairly consistent characteristics. But if you're watching this, then you probably already know that the whole hooves and horns thing was not actually in the Bible or in the books of any Abrahamic religions. We also know that the pitchfork the devil was holding is actually a trident, probably borrowed from Greek and Roman gods. And throughout history, the devil has numerous appearances in all kinds of texts. So much so that it's almost as if medieval scholars drawing a picture of the devil just kind of winged it and went with whatever they thought was scary or evil at the time. So let's go back to the hooves and the horns, that bit, right? Well, you would probably think that if the trident came from Greek and Roman gods, then surely that satyr-like appearance did as well. Surely this is a representation of the god Pan. But when did this happen? More recently than you might think. According to an author named Ronald Hutton, this whole pan influence on the figure of the devil didn't come around until the 19th century when people were aware of neo-paganism. 4. The whole idea that you could sell your soul to the devil in exchange for amazing riches and superpowers. Well, it turns out that kind of traces back to a more recent time too. That goes back to the German legend of Faust, where Faust sells his soul to Mephistopheles in exchange for wealth and women and all this other great stuff. In the canonical stories, the devil serves as a tempter, right, and wants souls, but doesn't necessarily give people amazing frigging powers in exchange for their soul. 5, and this one is a little bit more of a question. Okay, so we know now that a lot of the modern interpretations or perspectives on this figure of Satan actually come from non-biblical sources. They come from things like Dante's Inferno, a work of fiction. They come from legends like Faust. They come from fanciful drawings and ancient manuscripts. That's all, if you think about it, the media of its day. So here's the question. Will recent or more modern interpretations of Satan become things that future generations consider part of the canonical devil? And if so, which interpretations do you think will figure into this larger mythos? For example, Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate, that's one. Do you have one, Matt?
Dave Grohl in The Pick of Destiny.
Dave Grohl in The Pick of Destiny. Yeah, perhaps Tim Curry in Legend. Who knows? We'd like to hear from you.
A UFO in China's skies forced Zhoushan Airport to stop operations on July 7th. Outbound flights were grounded after the unidentified flying object was detected by a flight crew. The incident has captured the attention of Chinese media, and theories about the UFO's identity are burning up on the internet as well. They include everything from a hidden U.S. bomber to an elaborate man-made hoax. For now, the UFO continues to be a mystery. A spokesman from China's Civil Aviation Administration confirmed to ABC News that the matter is under investigation.
Some Chinese residents are on edge this morning after another apparent UFO sighting. It's the second one in 2 weeks. The first sighting was on July 7th, and an airport had to be shut down.
All right, that's a UFO if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, can you identify it?
That's undeniable.
The airport had to be shut down after people apparently saw twinkling lights above the airport terminal. 17 flights had to be diverted. The latest sighting happened just 2 days ago, and people say they saw 4 lantern-like objects forming a diamond shape in the air, hovering in the sky for over an hour. And aviation experts say they don't know what it was. It wasn't a plane.
Scientists from all over the world are trying to figure out what caused a mysterious blue light to spiral in the sky over Norway on Wednesday.
As UFO sightings go, this one was as good or as weird as it gets.
A light appearing high in the Arctic sky, baffling those who saw it and exciting a lot of comment. Early yesterday morning, just before dawn, this appeared in the Norwegian sky. A blue light, small at first, growing into a spiral and then disappearing into what appeared to be a black hole. In the northern community of Trondelag and on a Norwegian military base, cell phones snapped, video cameras rolled, and bloggers got busy.
Tonight, Norwegian authorities are investigating strange lights seen in the Arctic sky. The spiraling white light was seen for several minutes Wednesday morning. Locals say the light appeared to be bigger than the moon. Thousands of Norwegians bombarded the Meteorological Institute to ask what that light could have possibly been. Some feared it could have been a meteor, others a black hole, and there are even those that thought it could be aliens.
A strange spiralling white light was spotted in the early morning sky over Sydney, with even sceptical witnesses wondering if it was a UFO. The unusual sight was recorded by hundreds of people from Victoria north to Queensland.
A spiral in the sky around a bright light.
Scientists left baffled by an unexplained circular light seen hovering high over Moscow on Wednesday evening. People described seeing a wide circular formation in the sky. Footage capturing the spectacle will help whether scientists and specialists find an explanation for the event.
What was in the skies over Jerusalem? And why did it stop over one of the most treasured sites in Christianity?
There's a new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. The video is said to be taken over the weekend. Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky. Here you see it. Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing.
Now it is sparking intense debate on the internet. Trace Gallagher following this live from our West Coast News. And the question is, what was that UFO? What was it doing over Jerusalem? And, you know, is he back?
Yeah, and that is the question, by the way, Megan, because, you know, critics, it's difficult for them to dismiss this because there are so many different angles. We've got 4 different videos, all from various perspectives, but they do not know of anything like this in the Israeli army.
All right, because listen, I don't like to be scared. I just can't take it. It's, you know, I don't know what it is.
Well, I wish I could give you an answer to this bizarre sighting. I really can't, but I can tell you that earlier today, there were dozens and dozens of people right here on 23rd and 8th. They were standing right here, and they were all in a stupor, just crowded together, looking into the sky.
Well, a lot of people are looking up. It's because of a mystery in the sky. Is it a balloon, a UFO? Whatever it is, it sure has a lot of people talking. Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Begay is live in Chelsea, where crowds have gathered. Jeff, what's this all about?
Well, Sade, we don't know.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. What the heck is that? What is that? Look at the joint. Oh my gosh.
Disclosure is very close, and the American people need to prepare themselves very soon for an announcement from our government that there is, in fact, extraterrestrial presence engaging this planet and the human race.
line. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military's